We're fine. How are you? Are you okay? You've refused to speak to us basically for the not to give too much away here, but you haven't basically opened your mouth this morning.
That's untrue. I have talked.
Yeah. What about?
And I'm happy to talk about whatever you want.
Okay. How are you feeling?
How do you think I'm feeling?
See what I mean? Yeah.
What would you hazard a guess?
No, it's how can I know? Who can know what the torrent of another human being is?
Cork will win with something to spare, is it? That was your prediction?
Yeah.
I was telling you. I told you about this tip side.
So it's our fault.
Yeah. I think you contributed to it. I do think that, yeah.
Why was the crowd so quiet in the first half? The Cork crowd. Why did they not?
I didn't notice that.
It was very quiet around us.
Oh, yeah?
It felt like they were waiting for something to happen.
No, I was Lower Hogan and it was grand.
Grand?
Yeah.
But not like feverish, not like
that was good.
Driving the team on.
It was good, yeah. Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, jeez, long old show, isn't it? Jeez.
Come on, tell us, what happened? How the hell did that happen? What were you saying in the pub last night to people when you were trying to console each other?
I don't know. It's a state of shock, isn't it? I mean, Pat Ryan put it very well. But, there's a way to lose a final.
Ignore your phone now, come on.
And last year was more palatable anyway, certainly. Last year was a good match,
Well, last year you could see a future.
There was a weird thing, like at half-time yesterday when Cork were 6 points up. And we were chatting at half-time and there was a load, for some reason it was all Cork in the area. And there was no one that confident. And we're 6 points up. It didn't feel like we were 6 points up. So Tipp were winning all the loose ball and they had that sweeper and they were just cleaning up everything. And they had loads of wides, Tipp. They had like 4 wides in the first 12 minutes or something. It was mad. So
all from the same spot as well. And all unchallenged, largely.
Yeah. And then so Patrick Horgan has a free at the start of the second half. And if he nails that, they go 7 points ahead. And that was it. There was 2 points scored in the second half. And they were miles apart, those 2 points. Now they hit the upper post 3 times, the crossbar once. But
and
there's a way to lose it.
There's another one that was waved over by the umpire, which then they went back, was like, that was not. That should be actually another point for Shelley.
I was with my father and he's been to loads of All-Ireland finals involving Cork over the years. And he was thinking to himself, and then out loud, that it's the most sick he's ever felt. He said 1983 Kilkenny was bad, but that was more because Kilkenny stole it. But he said that he was kind of disgusted with the performance in the second half. And it's everything. It's everything you want to say about it, It was an unbelievable battle jab of epic proportions. I thought that Tipperary were excellent. And I don't really want to stick the knife in too much in Cork. First of all, Pat Ryan's had a hell of a year personally. But then also the achievement of winning the league for the first time since about 98 and Munster since 18 is great and all that. But the one worry I had was they beat Dublin handily, and then the last game they had was the Munster final, which is a long time ago. And I was thinking if Tipp somehow prevent Cork scoring all those goals, they have a serious chance. But I thought Tipp were magnificent. Absolutely brilliant. I applauded it full time. I thought they were so good, but they were certainly allowed to be good. And that's a sickener for Cork, and I don't know if they'll ever get over that second half. I've never seen I've never seen that, you can lose, but when you lose without any fight at all, they obviously wanted it, but they didn't illustrate that. But they were just, it was hinting at the first half they were losing battles, but it was just when you watch your own county, they didn't give up, but they just didn't have anything in them, and I don't know why, because they were 6 points ahead. They had a lead, they had something tangible and sustainable, and momentum on their side. And as Pat Ryan said yesterday, they got rid of the momentum, and they were outfought by another side, and outthought as well.
We had Nicky English on after the semi-final, and he was purring about the possibility that what happened yesterday might happen. And he makes a point in his piece today about, he was saying all year that there's no doubt that Tipp's touch is better than anyone else's in the championship, and they proved in the final that their touch was better than Cork's. I didn't realise there was such a gap in that. I think the skill level that we saw from Tipp yesterday, allied to the work. So it wasn't just the work. It was, they were tigerish. It was like watching a team of locusts descending on the ball every time. But then the silky skills to like have a little knock here or there, take the ball away from people. You're like, wow, this is. They were absolutely sensational. Like we haven't seen a performance. You know, they're looking back to the history books. The '83 final is the last time a team as favoured as that, according to Eamon Sweeney in his piece. A demolition job by Christy Heffern in the full forward line. 113 yesterday for Darren McCarthy. Darren McCarthy might not be the hurler of the year, but his story is the hurler of the year story. It's like, if you wrote that, where kid gets sent off in the opening 10 seconds and then against the same team finds his redemption in the way that he did it yesterday, you'd be like, no, that's bullshit. No one could believe that. Except Tipperary managed to manifest it. I think, though, Cork have to hold themselves accountable for what happened in the second half.
No, we will.
But you do. Like, there's that shot in the second half, about 45 minutes in. The game is still in the melting pot. There's 2 points in it. And there's a conflab of all of the backroom team, like 6 of them on the sideline, talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. Who...
There was a lot of people, wasn't it?
Who's responsible? Who's taking right, this is our plan. This is what we're going to do. We expected this, right? We expected them to play with a sweeper. Or, you know, it's not like the first sweeper they've ever seen in their lives. And yet the team felt compelled to pump the ball straight down to that left half-back situation again and again and again and again. I was like, Brian O'Mara's man of the match here, but obviously goes off injured. Like, he was just like limpet like.
But that would be preceded by good play as well, which is the most infuriating aspect.
Where they would win the ball back.
Yeah, they win it back, or they'd pass it amongst themselves. But this is not what you're talking about. But there was a moment that Dara Fitzgibbon has a lovely dummy in the first half, but he puts it wide, and that was kind of the story of it. But like, it was an unconvincing half-time chat about what had happened in the first half. But I was still thinking, like, Cork are 6 points ahead, and you know they should win it from here.
Well, everything that Tipperary needed to do in the first half had gone right for them, and they were still 6 points down. Like, except their shooting was the only thing that had.
Part of that, I do wonder about part of that, though. A lot of that seems to be retroactive. It's like, we planned to be within whatever number of points down at half time. It's like, why? And a little bit afterwards, I found it with a lot of discussion afterwards about to the other side, the Cork goal. It's like, bad time to score that goal. It's like, why?
I know, it's a great time to score.
Like but like
if you deal with it properly, if you win and there's no complacency. Like, sure, look, we took what they had to offer.
It's a shocking. The 2 points thing is it's a real anomaly. Like, that's so statistically unlikely that it's impossible to even judge it. But I suppose in the broader term of things, like, it's not that. What happened isn't that uncommon for Cork over the last 2 years.
Oh, all right.
I hear myself back there.
Yeah.
It's not that uncommon in the last few years. Like it's the same season where they've given up a 12-point lead to Clare. You know, like, and shipped a massive hammer. Now, the only thing that was so odd about yesterday is that you never really see that happen at the start of the second half. Like, even those big, like, 08 and the Limerick Cork in 21 and those big hammerings you see, they tend to be evident from the first 10, 15 minutes, and then the game just peters out. But this is, like, Tipp really get going on the score, I suppose, from when they take the lead and then never look back. But that's like 40 odd minutes in. I was just, there's like that objective part of you when you're watching it, you're like, what could this be? What could happen here? Like, this is so unusual. It's like completely unprecedented. Anything could happen, you know. And then you're like, almost like, with the penalty saved, you're like, this is like
historic.
What is happening? Like, penalty save.
History, yeah.
It's just you're almost willing it to stay down the score when the game's dead. You're like, I wonder how low they can keep this.
Yeah, pretty good. Micheál Martin in the background of all the pictures as well. Right, you know, having to
tough one.
Put a brave face on it. Sometimes you really wish you weren't the Taoiseach. You're like, could your man not have been Taoiseach for this? Or is he the bad luck? Is that what he's thinking? Like, am I destined? It's my fault. As soon as he goes, it'll be like the Ewing theory. Except, sorry, Colm, we shouldn't be enjoying this as much as it's very unenjoyable. It's not your pain we're enjoying. It's like it's living through history.
No, I felt awful for Cork, thinking about it, trying to be like empathetic afterwards. It's like, how would this feel?
Well,
I don't know. I I cannot imagine.
Tipp do this to teams. They did it to Antrim in '89. We were there for that.
It's funny looking back. They do it. They did like they tend to win. They win big. In like 16 and 19 as well. They win big when they come along. Now, thankfully, they won't do back to back, so we won't have to hear about it for a while. But
I think if you were like, because when Tipp made the breakthrough against Cork, when they eventually got over the line, they hammered them in one of those replays. And is that '87? Is it like?
I don't know.
It's like nip and tuck, and then there's just this flourishing where something in Tipperary, when they kill you, they're going to kill you properly.
Yeah.
And stop it, he's already dead. Right, 7:41, time for the performance rankings.
The good,
Is it acceptable to say it was the performance so far of the World Cup? Maybe not.
the bad,
I'm scratching my head. That performances was just lacked that intensity.
and the amber. Off the balls, performance rankings.
Yeah, it's all red.
No, it's green. It's green.
Put
Green,
everything.
green grass of Tipperary.
Yeah, Cork red. What's next?
The Golden Veil. What a performance. I mean,
Fine.
you were not big on Tipperary early in the year, Arthur.
I wrote them off completely.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think at the same time, right? I don't think it's that thing in sport, like where it's like the end justifies the means, and they've had this all the way right, all the way along. I don't think that's true. And I was noticing yesterday, it's funny, like how nobody was kind of suggesting after yesterday's thing, it's like, this is a coming team now, they're going to do 2-3. As opposed to, I think, the way if Cork had won.
Yeah, well, true.
So, like, there's an interesting thing there. The Tipp thing is amazing, and maybe they do. Maybe this is the start of it. We'll see. Fool me twice. But they were astonishing, and they were astonishing against Kilkenny. But at the same time, like,
I think that what needs to happen here is that we need to zoom out and leave room that teams will form over the course of a championship, and that they will get better, and that we will actually not know the truth about things until we see them with our eyes. Like every match now is an 80-minute roughly new piece of very important evidence that like Tipperary were building something over the course of the year. Like the Darren McCarthy story is ridiculous. It's insane. Shelly, like not number one at the start of the year, his puckouts were unbelievable.
yeah.
Like he would wait and wait and wait to the point where the crowd were like, "Oh, come on, ref, that's gonna be. What are you doing here? What are you letting him?" And then, ping. It's like, and several times he would find the right half forward in space, who would then, whoever was playing, whoever had broken into that run, whoever made that wide receiver run, and they'd hit it wide, and you'd be like, "Oh, you can't keep doing this. What are you doing?" But the chances kept coming and coming and coming and coming. I don't know. What was Cork's defensive strategy? We're Cork. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
I don't know about that, and it's interesting that they're probably a victim of their past in how we regard them. Because I was just thinking now, it's very interesting for people who are, say, 30 or younger, and it's like, what's your understanding of the Cork hurlers? And it won't really tally with what the historical understanding of the Cork hurlers is. I mean, that's 2 finals they've been to in 4 years, and they've been hammered out the door.
Joe Canning and Escale would tell you what of that age group.
So it's really interesting in terms of, like, I don't know if that's... I just don't know if that's... I wonder what the feeling was there, because there wasn't ever a sort of... It was funny how it started, when it started to slip away from them, that it was kind of like there was none of that sort of built-in... Kilkenny used to always have it, that kind of built-in thing where it's like, hold on, we'll do what we do here now. And Tipperary seem to have that, which they tend to do. They tend to come along every now and again and win in All-Ireland, and it looks so kind of like obvious that it's like, of course Tipperary won it. And that seems to just be gone from Cork for whatever reason. That kind of... It probably comes with just, I suppose, the 20-year gap and not having All-Ireland winners in the team. And I refuse to believe that the last few weeks it hasn't been a massive advantage to Tipperary to have the likes of McGrath's and these boys around who've done it all before. That's got to help.
Well, as Nicky finishes his piece, he's like, well, we're going to have medals in that group now for the next 10 years.
Yeah, it's a big,
right.
like, that success begets success kind of thing. But it's just that first one. I still think Cork missed the trick last year. And then it's kind of everything's different. And now I don't know. It's like, again, you have a situation where you're sort of Horgan, that sort of talismanic figure, it was going to turn 38 somewhere during the Munster Championship next year. You can't, I just don't know if you can have a 38-year-old starting corner forward. I don't know if that, it just doesn't seem logical. It's not. That's just unfair on him. Like, but it just no one else does it. I suppose that's the reason. You know that it's kind of.
I don't think he looked old yesterday either, though. I don't think he was one of the main problems. Like it was a collective issue, obviously, but there were individual performances worse than Horgan, who actually scored one of the points in the first half.
Yeah.
And when he got hooked in the second half, there was a mini standing ovation in my area for him, because I think there was an acknowledgement that this could be the end. And there was a few Tipp fans standing up too. It was easy for them to stand up, I suppose, at that stage. But I just thought Tipp were fantastic all game, even being 6 points down at half time. Because if you look back on it, and it'll be hard to do it, but if you do, every breaking ball, they got it. They won everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I was from Tipp, I'd be like unbelievably proud of that performance. They were sensational on and off the ball.
It was animal stuff.
But it was very much helped by their opponent. But monumental performance for a team that didn't get out of Munster last year.
Yeah.
And they've gone the ultimate this year. And we questioned them at the start of the year. Not just yourself. A lot of people, like, will they get out of Munster?
I know this is not the time to be having this conversation, but like maybe we just need to have two separate championships. One where it's just the Munster Championship that everybody goes, it's great. And everybody's like, oh, we don't even matter.
You know what?
But actually, like,
it's like the Munster Championship is celebrating more than winning the Munster Championship.
the All Ireland.
Yeah.
No.
The actual process of the weeks of it. Yeah.
We we go mad at how great it is, like, when it's happening, and we don't really not too bothered about who wins it. You know what? Like, what does it mean to Cork now? Nothing.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like I was thinking that yesterday. Like, it's been one of their best years in God knows how long, and all of a sudden now it's their worst year.
It was so funny because it's so result dependent, right?
Yeah.
So Cork got hammered twice this year, twice.
Yeah.
But if Cork had won yesterday, it was like, well, just for that Limerick aberration, what a year for Cork. And for Tipp, like, you got to hand it to them. They beat the best that Leinster had to offer, which in fairness in Galway wasn't much, but they scored 4 unanswered goals against Kilkenny, the fourth of which was with 14 men.
Yeah.
And they only lost once in Championship, and that was with 14 because of himself also being sent off.
It was noticeable that when there's a great picture there, Cork manager Pat Ryan can only look away as Owen Downey departs the field following his sending off.
You know what's mad? My instant reaction was, I don't think this makes a big difference. Even though there was 54 minutes on the clock, I thought Tipp have the momentum anyway. This just confirms it.
They didn't seem to like rally around him, or it didn't feel like all that.
No, and that's the other thing as well. It was like his shoulders slumped naturally. Got sent off in All-Ireland final. But you're right, though. There was no reaction to it at all. There was an acceptance. And if you look at both John McGrath's goals, I'm not being funny, right? That second one was in the air. I was like, that's a goal. It's like, he wants it. I swear to God, when it was in the air, I was like, he wants it more. I was like, he
It's bad
wants that more.
goalkeeping for that.
I know the first one, Patrick Collins, who's been great. But that when he's avoiding the point or trying to stop the point, which I guess admirable, but it's also naive to put it right back in play. And look, McGrath has had a lot to do, like, but again, Collins made up his mind by committing. But even if you look around the Cork defenders when McGrath scores the goal, very little react, very little fight.
Yeah.
But like, you're winning the game. Where does this come from?
Who knows? They just Tipperary took them.
Exactly. I can't figure it. I don't know where it's.
I'd love to know what was said at half time in both dressing rooms, because it sounds obvious. You would imagine Pat Ryan says more of the same, and Liam Cahill says, this final's going to be over before you know it.
Well, the performance coach, who's a Munster Rugby, a full-time employee from Munster Rugby,
from Sligo.
Sligo man, yeah. What's his name? Sorry,
Carl Sheridan.
Carl Sheridan. He was. He's getting wild praise afterwards.
Yeah.
So
you think it made a difference that
much in demand? Your man,
who's your man Keegan?
Keegan's in
was
Australia.
Was in Brisbane. The Zoom calls in didn't work.
I don't know. To Malahide, where it's absolutely lashing. Biblical rain, proving that God is, of course, she's a Cork hurling fan, weeping, gnashing of teeth. Tommy Rooney, good morning to you.
Morning, Ger. Morning, Arthur. Morning, Colm. How are things, lads?
Any sign of life from the Tipperary people?
I'm out of shot here. How am I going to get?
Yeah, no, go back there. Yeah. Hold it there. Yeah, that's it.
Go. Any sign of life from the Tipperary people? Do you know what, lads? Willie Connors was brave enough to chase Decky Dalton down the tunnel at half time yesterday. But when I stuck a mic in his face and he hadn't been to bed at about 7:30, he ran a mile from me. So that'll tell you what the Tipp lads like this morning. But he did say he'd be back down after an hour's sleep and he'd happily chat. So, geez, what a story. Willie Connors was absolutely unbelievable yesterday. When Decky Dalton got whipped early in the second half after the yellow card, I presume that's why he was taken off. Tommy Walsh nudged me in the press box and said, I hope Tipp aren't thinking about taking off Willie Connors, because he was having a mighty game. And, oh, lads, like, Colm, you mentioned there, like, you wondered what Liam Cahill said at half time in the dressing room. Liam Cahill told us, like, Liam Cahill was delighted. Liam Cahill was happy out. Once they were within 5 or 6 points, the plan was working. And yes, the brilliant Barrett goal before half time was a blow. But I just, even listening to Henry Shefflin afterwards, Henry reckoned it softened Cork a little bit, that they really weren't at it in that first half. And the goal maybe made them think, okay, we're going to get into our flow here. Things are going to start clicking. They go out at the start of the second half. Horgan's free goes to Hawkeye. What should be 7 within 7 or 8 minutes is 5 points. And I'm looking at my notes here, lads. Like 2 points in the second half. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. So, like, it doesn't make any sense. And, like, I'm going to catch Rhys Shelly this morning at some stage for you. He promised me in the tunnel yesterday, he said we'd catch up this morning. He's definitely going to be bright and fresh. But, like, I'm going to put it to him about 3 times the ball hitting the post. And Rhys Shelly was absolutely incredible yesterday. I think he's the first goalkeeper to score from play in an All-Ireland final. He was absolutely incredible. But 3 times the ball from a Cork player hit the post and Shelly went for a schlitter behind the goals, and the ball rolls across the line and he gets away with it. No Cork player reacts. Shelly manages to recover and clear the ball. But, like, you'd have to say those moments, and I put that to Pat Ryan, you know, those little bits of luck didn't go their way, but it wasn't just that. They were outworked, they were outfought. Tipp were ravenous. And, like, I was just thinking all week, like, what a dangerous team to have as underdogs. You know, I didn't expect them to do it in the manner in which they did, and I didn't expect them to win. I expected Cork to get the job done, but what a dangerous county to have coming in as the little underdogs that nobody was given a chance.
A little underdog festooned with multiple All-Ireland winners already in the squad. One of them here is Jason Ford. Let's play this now. Here he is talking to Tommy yesterday.
We were so hurt after last year. You know, Tipp is obviously such a mad hurling county, and a lot of us are living in, you know, close to the big towns and stuff, and that's where you're going, you're meeting people, and, like, you were going around last year. I remember meeting Jake Morris a couple of weeks after, and he was like, you're nearly ashamed going around the place to show your face around, because the manner, I suppose, that we went out in. And, like, we said it as a group all year, like, there's nobody going to come and save us. We had to go back and put in the work and drag ourselves up out of it, and thank God we did. I suppose after the season finished, you're meeting a lot of people, and they're kind of nearly, geez, are you going to bother going back, kind of thing, and nearly writing you off that you were finished. But, like I just said when I met Liam, like, that, you couldn't leave things like that. For the year that we had, you know, having played with Tipp for 13 seasons and won All-Irelands and things like that, to leave it on that note just wouldn't have felt right. And like that, you could see the glimmer of hope there with the younger players that were coming. And just when I met Liam, you got a really good sense that there was going to be no stone left unturned to get the thing back. Like, look, you need a bit of luck in these situations too. There was nobody talking about winning All-Irelands. There's, you know, can we get this thing, get a bit of pride back in the jersey, get out of Munster, and, like, get that bit of, as I said, reconnect with the Tipperary supporters. But yeah, a lot of tough months put down last year after that, but just makes it all the sweeter now.
That older age cohort played an incredible role in almost every section of the pitch, Tommy. Like, you think of the semi-final where Darren McCarthy has the meltdown in the freeze and he steps up, and none of the ones he nails are easy. Like, it's the opposite of easy. It's like, oh, thanks very much, 100 yards out on the left. Ping, and ping.
Ger, you were there yesterday, right? You were in Croke Park.
Yeah.
Darren McCarthy's getting jeered by Cork fans. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them from the word get-go. And McCarthy had pressure on him coming in. Like, that kid was playing a schools final last March. I was talking to Carter Brannock, you know, in the tunnel of Croke Park. We were both waiting to catch Seamus Kennedy, and he was speaking about covering Darren McCarthy in a schools final in March 2024. And to go through what he did this year, like Tipperary, look at the difference in last year and this year. Obviously, the three lads that came in, O'Farrell, McCarthy, O'Donoghue, like there's a clatter of them to come in. Obviously, they make a difference and they give an edge to it. But, you know, Ford is talking about the depths of the winter and looking at themselves, and they could only drag it out. Like, nobody was coming to save them. But, like, Darren McCarthy has brought something extra here, and to deliver in the manner in which he did yesterday. Like, when the penalty was awarded, when McGrath won the penalty, and he did a really good job to win it, like a phenomenal catch, and brilliant forwards, arm over the Owen Downey's trailing. Like, Tipp, he had to do, wins the penalty. There was no one else taking that penalty. McCarthy roofed that into the top of the net. So, Jesus, like, I was delighted to see Ronan Maher get man of the match last night when I saw it, because he was an absolute colossus. But you could have given it to Darren McCarthy, you could have given it to John McGrath, you could have given it to Willie Connors, you could have given it to, you could have given it to Jake Morris, who I thought was electric as well. Do you know it? And Jerry, you mentioned multiple All-Ireland winners, like, and you can add an All-Ireland to all of this. But coming into the game, Michael Breen had 2, Ronan Maher had 2, Willie Connors had an All-Ireland, Jake Morris had an All-Ireland, John McGrath had 2, Jason Ford had 2, Seamus Kennedy had 2, Noel McGrath had 3. Add 1 now to all of that. But look, think of what's in the squad, the infusion of youth. And I haven't heard from Colm Boohig yet this morning. That experience as well, that obviously made a difference. Colm, how are you?
Yeah, very well. What do Cork do from here?
Where do we go from here?
Mm-hmm.
Where do we go from here?
That's a big question for a Monday morning. And look, I think they'll be gutted. Look, oh God,
you can't go again. They can't go again. Like, you know, now's not the time for everybody to be saying these things, but it is. Like, it is the time to be saying it. Like, that you have your chance.
It was so bad, though, Ger.
You take your team as far as they can go. You know, they took them to the brink last year, and now this year, I don't think you can go back and face the same faces next year and say, oh, we're going to do something slightly different. You can't do it. There's no, I don't think. And look.
I don't know. I think, honestly, I think Pat Ryan has earned the right to decide what he wants to do. I think if Pat Ryan feels he has it to go back for another year, they are right there again, honestly. But it was so bad yesterday. It was so bad that once you have time to separate yourself from it, it makes no sense how bad it was. It makes no sense the manner in which they fell short. Like, it just doesn't. Like, it's nearly so bad that you could nearly not write it off, because you have to learn from it and you have to watch it back. The Donegal boys were telling me during the week that, you know, Ryan McHugh hasn't watched back the 2014 All-Ireland final, and he won't. But, like, the Cork lads,
that was a close game.
Yeah,
that was a close game. It was a 6 in the end, but
Jim McGuinness wrote in his book about, and I don't know whether he's changed on this, but as Colin McFadden reached to punch that ball to the back of the net, he didn't want it to happen because they hadn't played to their principles and they hadn't produced a performance. So, you like, this is how these people are driven. But this is how they're driven. And look at all.
Jack O'Connor did say he had his tongue firmly in his cheek when he said that, and I would agree with that. I think
possibly, but I just watched the Cork lads walking from the players' lounge to their bus yesterday, and you know, you'd nod at a few of them. Jesus, it was cruel. Like that's not them. That is not them out there.
Sorry, hang on a second now. Okay, I'm going to butcher this stat, but 3 of the 6 biggest All-Ireland final defeats are this Cork team, like, over the last 6 years. I've read everything this morning. I just can't remember exactly where it was, but like the pummeling they took from Limerick.
The Limerick one was the biggest score I think a winning team has ever put up.
Three of the scores that they've conceded have been.
Yeah, but like, you can't say that about the Clare game.
No, that was an anomaly. That was extra time. Like,
well, it just means that their defence, they've like, oh, we're going to outscore you. It's like a belief system. Well, all right, Tommy. All right,
but it wasn't necessarily.
If it happens once, it's now happened. They've allowed big scores to be racked up against them 3 times.
Sure. Yeah.
Tipp didn't yesterday.
You say it, but yeah, like, you can't put last year in. Like, Clare conceded
1 point less.
Clare conceded a point less than that total. I appreciate
maybe you play sweeper and you don't play your. We're going to beat you in a shootout.
I understand why Cork want to play the way that they want to play, like, because when they're on form, they're untouchable, but they have no alternative by the looks of it yesterday. Like, Tommy, what I want from you,
you're not untouchable. You're not untouchable in hurling.
What I want to know from you is, you watched that objectively in the second half, and I would love to know, like you said there, it's hard to describe, right? And it is. But what actually happened, do you think? Like, how did Tipp turn that around with such ease in the second half? You're watching it objectively. So like,
it wasn't easy. It absolutely wasn't easy, Colm. It was,
but it was though, Tommy. Like it was like they were racking up point after point. They were out batting Cork. They were unbelievable. They were working extremely hard, but they were making it look so easy.
Yeah, they probably reached the flow state. And the story this morning, as much as we probably all want to talk about Cork and the collapse, the story this morning, as I see the Liam McCarthy Cup coming out with some of the players, lads, so you might let me go and get them in a minute.
Yeah.
The story this morning, lads, is Tipperary and the manner in which they produced that performance, and like the ease, the flow state came from the winter, came from the last couple of weeks and months, came from the game plan that Liam Cahill and Mikey Beavens put in place, came from the connection that the players had grown between themselves over the last little while. So, like, to get into Cork's faces, to aggressively pull them apart yesterday, for Ronan Maher to outfield Brian Hayes the amount of times that he did, for Brian O'Mara to clean up from the amount of Cork long balls that were sent in his direction, for Craig Morgan to swap into that position and do the same thing at the start of the second half, for John McGrath to have very little impact until the 42nd minute, and then just
I actually thought he was in danger of getting subbed off before, and then suddenly
was, yeah.
Do you know,
but like that, he just does what he does. Like, and
sorry,
like,
one thing about that McGrath stuff, right? Like Cork were like celebrating the fact that they were able to win frees and get bookings against that full back line in Dublin. John McGrath did to them. I'm the smart, wily old horse here.
Yeah, lads, I'll leave you to figure it out there. I'm going to try and get you something here, and I will talk to you in a couple of minutes. I'm going to leave the line on here, and we'll be back to you with somebody in a couple of minutes. Okay?
All right, nice one, Tommy. 2 minutes past 8 this morning here. If you want to get in touch, 079 180 180 is the WhatsApp number. It is both a celebration and a wake. It is the curious mix of despair and absolute elation that brings life after an All-Ireland final. Poor Colm. Tipp now one behind Cork in the Roll of Honour.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, that's mad. I'd love to know the last time Cork weren't top two.
Off the Ball Breakfast is with the UPMC Orthopaedic Care. When things don't move, rotate or bend like they used to, choose us to help you get back in action. What will allow Cork to get back in action? This was the point we were making, right? And you were scoffing at us in the build-up. Like, the now or never thing is, if you don't win this one, how do you recover? And I think it's much worse now. Somebody correctly points out it was the end of the Ian Sweeney piece. In 5 years, Cork have lost 3 finals while conceding the biggest, third biggest and fourth biggest scores of all time. Their 2021 and 2025 losses are among the 4 heaviest in the last 60 years. That is like...
I never cared till yesterday.
Stick a rock.
That's that. Like Limerick were sensational in 2021. They're unbelievable what they did. Couldn't even be that angry at it. Last year was a fantastic final. This is a different story. Like, don't mind all its stats. Like, it's whatever way you want to look at yesterday. It's.
I think there's a distinction between this and 21. I don't. Maybe it's a similar sort of thing, but it's a different team. Like that team in 21 probably they outperformed. They probably didn't really have a right to be there.
People thought Tipp were going to be this year.
Yeah, they didn't really.
They were ahead of schedule slightly in 21.
This is a strange one because it's very hard to know what they do because they've done so much right.
Yeah. And other than like a not fully fit Seamus Hernady, that was the Cork side, you know, that was it. And but I don't know. I'd be loath to write them off for eternity.
And I'm not saying eternity, but like this
era though.
Yeah. How do you?
I don't know about that. I don't know.
It'll be an amazing comeback if they do. Whatever the sports psychologists, the performance people, the new management team, whatever happens, are going to have their work cut out for them.
If you was it 2022 when Clare lost that semi-final to Kilkenny, they got hammered. It was 12 points in the end, but like it was over, and it looked like that team's done. And the following year they come back, lose Kilkenny again, a little bit closer. Following year to win All Ireland, and like people will it's hard to look back now. It was a Saturday evening game. And Kilkenny, they were atrocious. And it was, like the place was cleared out a fair bit before the game was up. And it was dire. and you would have written it off. You would say there's no way Brian Lohan will be there in 2 years still, let alone then be All-Ireland champs. They've missed their chance. That's gone with a team that's only getting older and doesn't have the sort of influx of youth. So I wouldn't be saying that it's terminal for Cork whatsoever. But I think the problem now is that every team that comes knows that there's, until proven otherwise, there's softness there that can be exploited.
They're very talented. They're soft.
And until you kind of...
That's Cork, you know. It's not the worst thing to own ever. Like, they are amazing when they get going.
All right, let's go back to the celebrating team hotel. Rhys Shelly, how the hell are you?
Good morning, lads. How are we doing? Excuse the voice.
That is the gravelly voice we wanted, Rhys.
Big croaky now this morning. How are we?
So, you're the first goalkeeper to score from play, according to Christy O'Connor in the Examiner this morning in an All-Ireland final. It looked like you were setting yourself up for it. You're like, I could do this. So, what's going through your head at that point?
I remember I was kind of strolling out to the ball, and Connolly was like, kind of being like, I have this. Then he kind of goes to me, he was like, pulling to me here, but one of the Cork lads had read it. So then he kind of simmered down for a few minutes, and I just goes to him, I'm still behind you on if you actually want me, because no, they'd all turned around and walked away. He gave me the ball, and he goes, give it back to me. And I just said to myself, not a hope. And then at that stage of the game, I was like, not a hope. I don't think I struck a ball this sweet all year, I tell you. Yeah, went over the bar then.
And you turn around to the hill, and it's going to be an iconic photograph in your house forever.
yeah, sure. Had to do it. I don't know who on it, so I did. Someone had to recreate it. It was unbelievable. I still can't believe it, to be honest. Won't believe it for a while.
Rhys, in that first half, the puckouts at various stages worked absolutely beautifully, particularly to the kind of right half forwards pocket of space that your forwards were obviously making runs and creating space. What's that like for you as a goalkeeper when you're able to find those pockets almost unerringly?
I suppose it's pretty like, thankfully, Cork kind of went man-to-man there. And Andy Orman and Jack Morrison, the half-forward line there. I don't think anyone's going to beat them in a 1-on-1 foot race. Give them half a yard. All I have to do is hit the ball 10 yards in front of them. One bounce, they'll just catch it. Like, makes my job a hell of a lot easier, I tell you. But they started to push up then 25 minutes into the second half. Maybe it kind of got a bit small, a bit harder, but the boys kept making runs, and it's very, very, very easy for me. So it is very easy, and credit to the boys. They put in a serious shift at that half-forward line. They have all year, and it's made my job a lot easier, I tell you.
Morning, Rhys. Congratulations. Unbelievable performance.
Morning.
I was sitting next to my father, who's been to many All-Ireland finals over the years, and he was saying he's never seen a puck out like yours. The Ger touching it there with that question, but what is the strategy behind it besides the obvious getting length on it? Are you very specific about where you want it to go when you do that? Because it's so tough to deal with for the opposition, not just Cork yesterday, but all year.
Yeah, I suppose I don't really focus too much on the length as much. I kind of trust myself to be able to get that ball to where I want it. It's just the trajectory is probably the big thing these days, getting that ball, especially yesterday, thankfully now the weather was nice and dry, so that ball was kind of cutting through the air, no bother, bit of heat, no complaints. If it was rain yesterday, it would have been a totally different story. But the trajectory is massive. The speed of how the ball gets there is just, especially them mid-rangers to the half-forward or the half-back line midfielders, just to get the ball there fast, because the game has gone so fast. You can't. The day lumping ball and flowing ball down isn't the way anymore, and it's just adapting to that, really.
What happened at half time? What was said?
I suppose there was absolutely no panic in the dressing room. I know personally, I was kind of like, how are we 6 points down after the way we hurled? Like, I felt like we missed a few chances. I felt like everything they hit went over the bar. And I was just kind of like, I felt like, Jesus, we don't deserve to be down by 6 points here. And I knew, and Carl said it himself, he was like, we knew we were going to be here, lads. We're well in this game. And I don't think he wasn't wrong, was he?
No, he was totally right. That second half performance, it's ridiculous. You've got the trophy there. Did you sleep with it last night? Were you the one minding it?
No, I have her here, so I do have him.
Just casually throwing into shot there. No bother to you.
Connor Stakel, I made him come out of the room there at 5 to 8 this morning. I didn't expect to see him now, but I think he slept for him, so he did. So safe hands, safe hands.
Rhys, what a year, because there was a bit of debate at the start of the year if you were going to be able to nail down the number one slot. You managed to do that, and now everybody's got you in the team of the year. Where did the year go right for you?
No, to be honest, just kind of stick to what I know. Like, I always had belief in myself, and to be honest, when Carl gave me a chance, like against Clare there, I just made sure I did my best to take it, and thankfully I did, because as much as everyone in the panel, like there's a panel of 38 lads there, like everyone believes they are good enough, like, so when you get the chance, you just got to take it, like, and look, that's I don't know how much to say on it, to be honest. Like, it's kind of a tough question to answer, one, like, because I get asked it a lot, so I do.
Well, listen, you've been brilliant to be able to take this for us this morning. Thanks a million. We know you have to go. Congratulations.
Well done.
Thanks, lads. Brilliant chat to you. Bye-bye.
It's Rhys Shelly.
Class, isn't it?
Like,
Delicate.
That's great.
Unbelievable.
What a performance. Even his reaction when he saved the penalty. The game was all well and truly done, like, but the adrenaline and the passion. Like, what a display. Because we run it with, like, goalkeepers never won hurler of the year.
No.
And he's not going to, I'd say.
No.
But at the same time, like, geez, it's hard to do much better than that for the year he's had. When's the last time Tipperary conceded a goal? Did they concede against Galway? I should have looked at that before I said it.
At the end of the first half yesterday.
Sorry, Jesus. Yeah, Jesus, I've already forgotten about.
I think.
And it's funny, he played quite well.
Barrett?
Yeah, Barrett played quite well for a guy who was very quiet against Dublin. He got 1-3, I think, yesterday.
Smashing goal.
Jesus, I've completely forgotten about the goal that we just talked about. Yeah, but one goal to concede between the semi-final and the final, and it's not just that; it's his all-round play. It is a 16-fella outfield, like.
And there's always a confidence that when he comes for it and he makes himself available, that he's going to be in control.
Yeah, I was just so unbelievably impressed with Tipp. They were class, particularly in the second half.
Yeah, and it's funny, I remember earlier in the year when you were watching them against Clare, and even though the game didn't pan out half as convincing in the end, because Clare made a great go of it coming back, what they were doing to them just with goals particularly, it was just like, this is it wasn't the same plan, but they executed their plan so well that day. You're like, geez, this team can really carry it off when they need to, like, whatever. And it was obvious yesterday, like, they were so well drilled. And it was just, but that's still, it still brings up the same thing. I can't get my head around, because Cork have been well drilled. I just can't, I don't know,
boys. I just, you said to me last week, forget about the Dublin game. And I did, but then you have to go back a long time. But I was chatting with Paul Murphy yesterday, and he was saying, like, people do forget that, like, Kilkenny themselves would go 4 to 6 weeks between semi-finals and finals back in the day. This is not a new phenomenon by any means, like, that teams do go an awful long time without playing. But Tipp probably had not the perfect semi-final, but a really good one, because it was a good battle right till the end. You know, they're battle ready. But you can use any sort of excuse to, you know, try to describe what happened and explain what happened with Cork there, whether they weren't match ready, where they had too easy in the semi-final, whatever. Like, had Cork won the game yesterday, had they stayed in the lead in the second half, you would have said, well, that's great preparation in the semi-final, because the confidence was up.
Do you know what? I'm just thinking, so since the round robin started, I know there's still such a small base actually to talk about, but in 18, with Limerick's first win, they came third. With 19, Tipperary, that first, I suppose 3 years after, first win in that format, they lost the Munster final, so they also had a backdoor kind of have to come through. Obviously goes a little bit then with Limerick, who stops for a little while, but Clare last year lose the Munster final, have to go through the back door. Tipperary third, go through the back door. So it's an interesting thing that teams going for what is a first for the group. So far no one has come through that way first. Limerick have obviously done it, but it's not been their first that they've come through. No one has come through yet straight through and won the whole thing and had the 4-week gap to contend with that hasn't done it before. Now, that could be nothing. Again, it's such a small sample size, but it's just an interesting kind of... there must be, the way everyone talks about it, there must be that battle-hardened element to it. There must be something to it.
KPLK says Tipp at 9 wides in the first half and a goal ruled out for square ball, which looked dodgy to me. I thought, what? Come on, what are you doing here?
He started well inside.
Like, what's and the swing was mad. The other thing is, 31 minutes on the clock, and a lot of people are streaming out to have a piss and buy stuff. And you're like, lads, you're going to miss something here. They missed the square ball. They missed the goal.
I was in the Jacks.
For
Tipp's square ball.
You're the worst.
For Tipp's square ball. I couldn't hold it in. Like,
you're notoriously tiny bladder.
I thought it was actually...
You can't have pints beforehand with a small bladder.
That's a terrible accusation. There was no point. I honestly thought I was going to piss myself, so I had to go.
It would have been worth it.
But I came back I came back for the Barrett goal, but I heard the roar in the Jacks. And I was like, what does that sound like, a Tipp or a Cork? And I came out and it was explained to me. So I actually haven't seen the disallowed Tipp goal. But that stat is, I poo-pooed a stat earlier, but that's very relevant. The number of wides. I counted 8, so it was 9. Jeez.
And they were all from...
I actually counted them one by one as they were happening.
Not too many of them were for pressure. It was
they
like
were
almost...
really bad misses.
They had time to consider too much.
Dalton, I don't know, was he purposely not on his man from a defensive point of view from Shelly's puckouts? But I don't want to just single out one fella. But there was definitely a yard and a half given to Tipp lads. A yard and a half these days. There was 3 times in the first half Tipp scored a point where it was Shelly to wing back to corner forward over. It was so simple. It was like a training exercise.
All right. Another All-Ireland winning Tipperary star, Andrew Orman, joins us now on the line from Malahide. Andrew, good morning to you. How are you?
Great. Thanks for you.
What was the madness of last night like?
Fairly mad, all right. I suppose had a great time here and into town then, so a few early risers here, but no, it's great.
Can you take us back to the first half when most of what you're doing is actually working quite well? Like, you've created a lot of chances and you've managed to keep the Cork attack somewhat under control. What was the sense that you had about how the game was going at that stage?
The first half was played at a very fast pace, but I still felt we were going okay, and we're kind of hit with a bit of a sucker punch then with that goal. But I suppose we kind of envisaged Cork, getting a little bit ahead of us. They're obviously a class team, and we it wasn't a shock that we might have went in maybe 4, 5, 6 pints down. So, we weren't worried in any way, and I suppose we needed a fast start at the start of the second half, and lucky enough, I think they had a chance to go 7 up, and Hawkeye prevented them from doing so, and I think that was a little turning point, and we ended up clawing it back before we got the goal. But no, I think that was the first 15 minutes of the second half. I don't know, did we play that well all year, to be honest?
Well, like people are saying, they've never seen a half in an All-Ireland final like it. Like, it's a historic level of dominance. I mean, I don't know, do you feel something switch 5-10 minutes into that second half where it's like actually everybody who is in a battle with their direct opponent is managing to win that battle?
Yeah, you probably do. You kind of feed off the crowd as well. The Cork supporters are brilliant. You can hear them in the first half as well. And I suppose the second half, then you could really, really hear the Tipp supporters. I suppose the colour of red is quite vibrant. But when the game was over, you could see the amount of Tipperary supporters there. Hill 16 was nearly full. So you're kind of feeding off the crowd, and I suppose we've been on the receiving end of defeats where momentum went against us, and it can be very hard to stop. And maybe that's something that happened yesterday. We picked up a bit of momentum, and maybe we rode our luck, but I suppose you make your own luck in ways, and we're just delighted this morning.
When did you find out that you were going to be playing with an extra man in defence? Was it weeks and weeks ago? Was it always the plan if you got to play Cork again?
No, I suppose we've barely gone over the line against Kilkenny, only for a bit of magic for Oisin O'Donoghue. So straight away, we had to. We had 2 weeks, but really you have about 10 days to get your game plan in place. And yeah, we kind of decided early on. No, it's great. We have so many matches throughout the year that we had played Cork in the league final. We had played them in the Munster round robin, and we kind of knew what they were about and how dangerous they were. Especially their inside full forward line, they were on fire, especially in the semi final. So, if you give them space and you give them the channels, it's going to be hard to shut them down. Like, so, look, we backed ourselves. Brian O'Mara was super yesterday in that role, and a couple of others went into that role when he was either marking someone else or when he went off. And I think it's just a testament to our players that they were able to adapt to a system that we probably hadn't played before. But we looked fairly comfortable doing it. But to answer your question, just maybe in the last 10 days, I suppose.
But because that is like really remarkable, and the fact that it worked so well in the first half, that like Cork were lorrying long ball down on them, but also they would create a pocket of space in their own half back line. They'd look up and they'd pick a pass and we'd go straight to him. And you could hear the Cork crowd around us going, "What are you doing?" It's like all of a sudden, this big decision you've made is really working. Even though you end up going 6 points down, the plan was the right plan.
Yeah, I think you could sense that. I think you could sense that maybe Cork weren't getting into their rhythm. Now, at the same time, you're not getting overconfident either. They're a super team and they can hurt you from different ways. But at the same time, we kind of stuck to the plan. We were brave. We brought that ball out. It's much easier to lorry the ball down the other end of the field than it is to work the ball out with players of the calibre that Cork have that are right behind you, like marking you really tight, and some of the bravery in our play. But look, it's just the coaching team's fingerprints all over it, really. And our manager, he had to front up to a lot of the criticism last year. There was nobody sticking microphones in our faces last year. It was him that had to go out and face I suppose we'll call it the mob, I suppose. But I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for Mikey. Two lads that I've been working with since I'm 15 or 16 years of age, and I'm just thrilled for the two of them in particular.
Morning, Andrew. Congratulations. Unbelievable performance.
Thanks, mate.
What I want to know, we definitely want to talk obviously the Tipperary side of things, but were you surprised by Cork in the second half?
No, I don't think you get an emotion like surprised at an opposition, because you're so focused on the next play, the next ball. You're nearly programmed to just, the second the ball goes over the bar, you're nearly programmed to set up for a puck out or look for the lads you're marking. And particularly their midfield are quite dangerous, and I was kind of out around that area, so you're trying to keep an eye on them at the same time. So surprise is probably not the word to use. Look, they are a good team. They're a great team. We've seen what they can do over the last 2 years, and things just went against them yesterday. But we played well yesterday, and so I suppose we're going to try and take the credit for it.
Unbelievable. On and off the ball, sensational. Tipperary all game really, but particularly even when you were 6 points down, but particularly the second half. Look, it's I suppose it's a simple question in many ways, but you're part of a rare breed. Can you just describe to us the emotion when the full-time whistle goes?
Yeah, we're just discussing it here. It's actually hard to take it all in. You're trying to soak it all in, and you're trying to maybe stay on the pitch for a little bit longer, or you're trying to meet all the players, meet your family. It's hard to soak it all in, but you try your best. It's just it's probably a bit of relief in it as well that you got over the line, because obviously it's your dream to win the All-Ireland. So you try and enjoy it, but there is probably a little bit of relief. That's me as a person. But no, it is euphoric. It is. We probably had a euphoric moment at the end of the semi-final against Kilkenny, the way we won it. I suppose maybe with 70 minutes on the clock yesterday, we were probably able to maybe think we had the job done. So it was amazing. Especially, I think it was fitting with Noel McGrath getting that point near the very end.
Sensational.
Just what a guy in our dressing room. His fourth All-Ireland medal. Just what a leader, what a gent. So thrilled for everybody, and him in particular.
It's really, and this might get lost in it, it's such a ballsy thing for the team to continue to take the risks to shoot when in the first half there's 9 wides, which other teams they fall apart a little bit. They go within themselves and they stop taking the shots, but you guys kept taking the shots, and in the second half what wasn't going over started to go over. Yeah,
I think, look, that can happen in Croke Park. It's sometimes shooting into Hill 16 is a little bit it'd be a bit hard to judge the wind, and I think Cork kind of found that in the second half as well. But I suppose you just have to regroup straight away when you put the ball wide or whatever, and we did that. And when your tails are up, your tails are up, and our luck was in the second half, for sure.
Well, listen, we'll let you go, Andrew. Thanks a million for chatting to us. Enjoy whatever's coming next, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Cheers.
Thanks very much,
Fair
guys.
play, congrats.
Thank you.
It's Andrew Orman. He's part of that crop who were under 20 victorious. I think it's 5 years ago at this stage, and they're all 25 now. And you can see that they were all ready for Broadway yesterday, and over the course of this championship. So maybe that's one of those other things. Is like teams are coming through and maturing at different ages. Like Darren McCarthy is a unicorn, right? A 19-year-old.
Well, it's like someone, funnily enough, was saying the same thing. I know you didn't get man of the match, but it's the same. If the trajectory possible, it's the same thing that Kyle Hayes did in 2018. It's like, so if that's the kind of caliber of player you're talking about that he could become, like, it's just like, wow, okay, he could be one of the best in the game. It does come alive. It's so rare, though. It's unbelievable. It's Jesus Christ, it's unbelievable.
You got the joint third highest rating in the Irish Examiner player ratings, 7.5 out of 10. Probably nudged that to 8, to be fair.
You'd probably give him the benefit of the doubt. It's like
you round it up, don't you, usually?
No halves. You're not allowed halves.
Yeah, there's a good few halves, actually.
No.
Yeah.
Come on.
4.
They keep aren't giving out halves, are they?
I think they do. They do decimal points, do they?
Points. Yeah.
Yeah, good few halves for Cork, too. I won't say the first
Can
one.
I just ask, and I know I appreciate you're not there anymore as regularly as you would have been before, but what's the reaction likely to be in Cork among supporters?
I'd say
Totally normal.
I'd say a bit of shock.
Will they turn on it, on the team?
No, I don't think so. But the one thing I'm not mad about Cork fans are when Ger mentioned it there, when they don't find their man with a pass. They're very audible. And so we're great supporters, but the other side of it we get very critical too. And it'll be big shock, I'd say. That would be the biggest emotion first, and then wondering about the future, and the feeling would be uncertain. But it'll take so long to get over that second half. I'm still in a bit of disbelief. The walk when Jones' run was very different yesterday than it was last year. They were both quiet, but they were different types of quiet.
Yeah. It's just, I don't even know how you go back and...
I don't know. It would be a hell of a comeback if they actually won. If this generation went back next year or the year after and won an All-Ireland, because it's themselves really that they have to beat.
Have Limerick and Cork next year. And they have Clare and Cork next year. They'll have to go to Thurles.
Yeah. In your power rankings for 2026, Cork are probably what? Outside the top 5 now, are they?
Outside the top 5. What? Sorry, they just got annihilated.
Yeah.
You're not getting super bonus points.
Yeah. That's why.
So you put Limerick ahead of them. You put Tipp ahead of them.
Yeah. Kilkenny.
I don't know about Kilkenny yet. Like Kilkenny must be looking at what Tipp did yesterday and going, we had that team on the rack.
It is mad. Like,
really should have lodged that appeal.
Do you know what's mad? It's like Cork won the league and won Munster, and we're rightly so down on them. But like they're officially the second best team in the country twice in a row. But really, then you have the question, where are they?
Yeah, the Mayo thing was doing the rounds yesterday.
The Mayo thing, come on.
What?
Mayo never gave up, to be fair.
Come on.
Wait, the Mayo team, the naughty lady.
It was 20 years ago.
What?
The last All-Ireland. No, it's not that bad.
Right, time for the cash machine.
Off the balls, performance rankings.